One.
Oi oi, and welcome to the Derp channel. I'm Ski Nerd, over there's Derp, and we are here to review a movie today.
Objection. if
Do you have any evidence?
if it happened after if it happened after Christmas Eve, then is it on Christmas? Or after midnight on Christmas Eve, then is it on Christmas?
Oh, something cracked. Um, yes. Yes, it is. God, you're dumb. Alright, so this movie, I enjoyed this movie. It started off like really slow, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be like the video game, slash, they got manga for it too. I thought it was gonna be dumb, but
Well,
they.
first of all, we are saying we are reviewing the Ace Attorney movie.
Oh, did we not say that?
No.
Oh, okay. Ace Attorney.
If you could tell by the objection.
There it is. Ace Attorney movie, made in 2012, and we're gonna go kind of over it and say what we liked, that we don't like. So let's start.
First off, it's directed by famed director Takashi Miike. Starting off our reviews of his movies, the ones that we can find at least.
Cool. So we were gonna watch another movie, but then nothing.
We were gonna
Right.
watch City of Violence, but then we couldn't find it on any streaming platform. Then Itchy the Killer, which was on one that we had never heard of.
And they wanted to do a 7-day free trial, and after the 7 days, they make you pay $3.99 per month. So, yeah. Anyways, um, let's get this started. And it begins with like there's like a seance or whatever. Some like woman she's a medium, and she's there to talk to a ghost, and the ghost says a certain person shot someone else. This Yanni Yogi shot someone apparently, and then it.
Also accompanied by with a vision of somebody getting shot in the back.
Oh yeah, someone got shot in the back. They were like, "Oh, it was this person who did it," blah blah blah, and then they get arrested and stuff happens. And anyways, then we learned about the bench trial system. It is a way faster system than what we currently have, and all cases are resolved in 3 days.
3 days. Yep.
And what was the other thing? Oh, crime has risen by 5 times the amount as it was like before, and so using this justice system is better and faster, and it gets that justice going. So we start off by seeing uh, Phoenix Wright, and
Played by Hiroki Naramiya.
he's defending his friend Lenny, or what's his name?
Larry.
Larry.
Larry
I knew that.
Butts. Played by Akiyoshi Nakao.
Yeah. Uh, and he's kind of struggling with this, but at the very last second, when the judge is gonna say guilty, um, his assistant Mia comes in and is like, "Wait a minute, I got the evidence that proves that my assistant wasn't there." It's something to do with like the clock and flying to somewhere else, and it's like 14 hours ahead or something like
Yeah,
that.
it was the the person that was being prosecuted flew from New York to Japan.
And they didn't change their
Yeah, they did.
timer or something.
Yeah, 2 hour difference.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So they couldn't have been there at the time.
Yeah, so he wins his first case, and they're all celebrating. And this guy he's defending is his childhood friend.
Along with the traditional Phoenix right of the people accused tearing out their hair, confetti going everywhere.
Oh yeah, the cleaner lady like had confetti like ready, and it was like, oh yay, and then the other lawyer like tore off his wig and chucked it at him, and I was like, what is happening? But apparently that happens in the games.
And I was just sitting there laughing my ass off.
Yeah, that was pretty entertaining. Anyways, then we are introduced to a Miles Edgeworth, and he is a prosecutor for the state, and he's pretty
Played by
cool.
Takumi Saito.
And he is also one of Phoenix's childhood friends. They were all in the same classroom like 15 years ago. And he's there and he's like, oh, I'm a prosecutor now. I'm so cool. And he like wins a lot of his cases. And then Mia, his assistant, finds something about a case. She's like, I found some evidence, blah, blah, blah. And then she comes home and she gets whacked with the statue. And we got to mention this is a clock, the thinker statue, and for as a thanks for winning the case, they were awarded this thinking statue. So you like turn it, and it helps you think, and you pray until you get the right thought. At least
That's
that's
the
the thought.
theory, but it also you turn it and then it says I think it's whatever the time is,
Yeah, it tells you what time it is. So
and it's given to Phoenix by Larry because Larry owns a souvenir shop.
yes, exactly. So Mia finds this evidence, and there's this like really sus guy that's around. He's like all in black, and he looks suspect. Looks like a suspect. Um, and
Shaded face, long hair, hat.
yeah, then she gets attacked, and then Phoenix is there, and he finds this girl, and he follows this girl into the place where he's working at, and he sees the body. He's like, oh my god, and then then like an like an idiot. Like it just he's just plain dumb. Like he touches the murder weapon, which is by the body,
With
and
no gloves or
no
anything.
gloves. And he's like, oh, look at this. And then the police come. And he's like, oh, I work here. Oh my god. Oh, it wasn't me. And then you think he's gonna get arrested, but they arrest the girl instead because there was a key witness who was the really weird-looking suspect guy. And so they go to trial, and right away, because that's how the justice system works. And evidence number one is there was a piece of paper with Maya's name written on it in blood, and there's an autopsy report that said uh, she was dead as soon as she got hit, and it was like, oh, how could she write a message if she was dead? And then the prosecutor, who is Miles
Yep.
himself, um, he's like, oh, there was a new autopsy report that came out that said she had minutes to do things, so she could have written the message. And they were like, and they kind of go back and forth through this whole trial thing, and it's it's kind of confusing to be going over all this in detail. So let's make it like quicker or
Yep.
something. Uh, Autopsy report. This guy is like a reporter. This sus guy gets called to the stand, and
Red White is his name.
yes, Red White,
Played by Makoto Ayukawa.
and Blue is his wife. And basically he was because he was a witness. He was able to be like, oh yeah, I saw the thinker as a weapon, and it's a. And he's like, he knows it's a clock. It's like, how do you know it's a clock? Because I saw it in a store. Oh yeah, well, and it's only sold in one store. What's this store? And he just magically gets the name right. It's like, oh, it was this store. Blah blah blah. Then he mentioned, there was breaking glass. Oh, how were you able to see it? There was a wall there, you couldn't see it. Oh, actually, he was phone tapping.
I bugged the apartment or bugged the
I phone
office.
tapped the thing, the phone, so I was in the place illegally, but that doesn't refer to this case. Oh, okay. And then we get phone a ghost. A random ghost appears in Mia, and it's Mia's sister. Is that who appears? It's the
Uh,
sister who died, or the mom?
or you have the names wrong. Maya is the
Oh, Maya's the
younger
dead girl.
sister. Mia
Oh,
is the dead. Maya is the younger one.
oh God, that's so goddamn confusing. Why do they do this to me? Maya, okay, did I write me or Maya? It doesn't matter. Maya, okay, Maya, the one who's on trial here. Um, Anyways, there's a ghost that appears on Maya, and it's just like, oh, you're so close, Phoenix. You have the evidence right in your hand. And he looks down and he's like, oh, I got some evidence right here. And he finds out there was a receipt for this lamp thing, and it was bought the same day of the murder.
Yep.
So it was this guy who like murdered Mia, and so he's found guilty, and everybody's like, yay! And then apparently he's has
Confetti and
confetti. Yeah, there's always confetti, and there's something to do with this thing called the DL6 case,
yep.
and it has to do with Mia's mother, and she like disappeared or something like that. And there's like other shenanigans that happened, but that's what this whole movie is about. Is about this DL6 case. Um, and so, anyways, the Maya is found not guilty, so they're like, "Yay, I'm not guilty!" But they immediately go into like another case right away. They're like, "Wait, what is this D? What is she? What was Mia trying to like figure out? What was she trying to find?" Um, and she changed it. She Another thing about that is that she changed it from a clock to something else. She was like, "Oh, I changed it," and then she left like messages. Um, and that's how the phone tapping was a way to spy on her. And then they find out that this red guy, was just a pawn in a bigger scheme. And they're like, the whole time they're like, "There's a bigger fish." Ah. Anyway, so she's not guilty. The DL6 case is talked about. They immediately. We learned that the DL6 case was there was like a lawyer killed in an evidence room, and Yanni Yogi was blamed for this, and he got arrested and he pled guilty with insanity. Um, and the victim of this case was Miles' father. Wow. So immediately after this, Miles gets arrested for murder because someone like he was like in a boat or something,
He was in a boat with a
and
hooded figure,
yeah, and we learned that this hooded figure is
and there's
Robert Hammond.
2 gunshots, and he was the only one left on the boat.
Yep. And there was other shenanigans, and they arrested him, and so they, of course, Phoenix and Maya go to investigate, and they find that it's on this lake called Gourd Lake, and there's like a microphone next to this um, camera, and so what it is that when you something loud happens, the camera takes a picture, and we got this like other weird case of like, oh, this they found like
Evidence of the Loch Ness version of
they
the
called it
Phoenix, right?
they called it Gordy, the Loch Ness monster, I guess. Whatever. So that's just like a weird, crazy, wacky thing.
People
And
were just taking a picture right as a Big Bang happened,
yeah, exactly. Um,
and it
and they
shows
look.
a very blurry. It looks
It
like it
looks
could
like
be
a.
like a
It
tail.
looks like a head. I think it's supposed to be
Yeah,
the head of um, the Gordy,
Gordy.
the Loch Ness monster thing. Anyways, that was really stupid. Anyway, so Miles
It
is arrested,
it's in the
and
game. Trust me.
oh, I believe you. And so they go and investigate. Also, like Miles doesn't want Phoenix to like be his attorney because he's like, yeah, there's like way better attorneys out there. You just solved your second case. Like, I don't want you. You're too green. And however, because Miles has been so good, um, he's locking up all these other lawyers as clients away, so they none of them want to represent him. So Phoenix is the only one left, and the detective guy is like, "Please help Miles." He's like, "All right, I'll do it. Cool." And so they go to the lake. They find this stuff, and there's this woman there, um, who's basically living in a tent searching for this Gordy thing.
A
And
lot of heart.
oh yeah, oh that's her name, right?
Yep.
A lot of heart. She has like a uh, not a perm, but an afro.
Yep.
She has a big afro, and she talks in like a not a southern accent, but like a
Dialect.
dialect,
Like
like a hick dialect
yeah.
kind of thing.
That was one of the things that I really liked, just because she talks like that in the games. So that
That's good.
even the subtitles, they included it in the subtitles.
Yeah, and you can tell this person is just there to try to get a quick buck. Um, but they ask her for the photo, and she's like, "No, I don't want to give you the photo." And they're like, "Okay, that's weird." Um, Robert Hammond's victim, and then Yanni Yogi's. It was Yanni Yogi's attorney. That's who Robert Hammond was. Okay, got it. Um, and then we get the kid court scene where they're all children, and who gets accused of stealing the money?
Phoenix, right?
Phoenix Wright is accused in front of the entire class, and we get their dreams are like Miles is like, I want to be a lawyer like my dad, and then Phoenix is like, I'm not gonna tell anyone what I want to do. It's a secret. And the other guy, Larry, I don't know what he
Larry
wanted to.
Butts.
What did he want to sell garbage to people or something?
Yeah,
Is
I
that what
don't
it
think
was?
he even really said.
Oh, okay. Anyways, so he gets accused of stealing like 3,800 yen from the school or from the classroom treasury or something, and Miles stands up to him, and that's the thing that why how
Sparked
Miles
their friendship.
sparked their friendship and what made Miles want to become like a lawyer on that day. Um, so it like solidified like, oh, I actually do want to become a lawyer because this is awesome. I want to protect my friends. He's like, you can't accuse someone without evidence. But we'll get back to that money stealing scene because it is very relevant, um, especially at the end. Uh, so we learned that there was a meeting at the lake. Miles was given a letter that says, "Meet me at the lake at midnight," and it's from Hammond. And he goes, "Okay, we can," because there apparently was some new evidence for this DL6
DL6.
case, and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna go to the lake," and he tells the side of the story about how Hammond pulled a gun out on Miles, and he shot him and missed, and then there was another shot, and then he fell into the water, and then there was a body or whatever, and he's like, "Yep, that's what happened. There was two shots." Um,
All that happened after midnight
yeah,
on Christmas Day.
and then we get the start of the second trial, and it's Eban Karma.
Von Karma.
Oh, right, I wrote it wrong. Von Karma
Which
versus Phoenix Wright. This
they,
is the second trial.
they didn't go into it in the movie, but in the game, Von Karma is actually the person that trained Miles. They didn't say
Okay,
it in the movie, but
that kind of makes sense. How
yeah.
they're both trying to be perfect and stuff like that. There was a scene earlier where Miles was basically brown nosing Von Karma.
Mhm.
He's like, oh my god, I can't believe you went 40 years without losing a case, blah blah blah. Anyways, who cares about that? So it's Von Karma versus Phoenix Wright, and it starts off with Lotta as a witness. Um, this is where he says she's like, oh, it was
Or,
Christmas Eve a little after midnight. He's like, so when you say that's Christmas Day, and then like the entire audience in the
fall
courtroom,
over.
they fall over. It's like the classic anime trope when someone says something dumb or does something dumb, they go, "What?" and then they just like fall over like really quick. It's hard to do that with real people, but
And
they
it's,
they,
it
they
was
tried and
really
it's
well
good.
done.
Yeah, it's good.
Because we were like, what the fuck?
Yeah, we had to rewind it and be like, why are they falling over? Uh, so she's a witness, talks about Christmas. Oh, um, also after this happened, the judge is like, yeah, if you say something stupid like that again, you'll be kicked out of court. And he goes, oh yeah, I'm sorry, blah blah blah.
Which happens in the game if you say a lot of stupid shit.
Yeah, you just automatically lose apparently.
Yeah.
Um,
There's always like little ones that are so stupid that they're automatic fails.
nice. Um, so they go through the evidence and are like, look at these photos, and she Lotta is like, oh yeah, I saw their faces, and we look at the photos, we can barely see the faces. And she goes, I had binoculars, and they were like, on a foggy night like this, there's no way.
And at night,
And
with no light source.
and right, exactly. And she's just like, well, uh, well, I just wanted the publicity. I wanted to be a witness because it sounded cool. Yeah, I'm gonna leave. And she just like runs out of the courtroom because she's full of BS. And when they learned about like the second shot or whatever, because the one shot missed, and then there was just a second shot or whatever. Um, Phoenix determines, oh, Robert Hammond could have shot himself, so we need to keep going. Blah blah blah. I was like, oh wait, where was it? Where did that second shot come from? Because it didn't come from anyone on the boat. Oh, by the way, after he got shot, you know what Miles did? The gun was dropped. You know what Miles did? Yeah, he picked up the fucking murder weapon. Like, what? What? How? Who trains these lawyers? Like, do they
Apparently,
not
Von Karma.
do they not know anything like it? Oh, I'm at a murder scene. Oh, I'm gonna touch it. I'm gonna touch this murder weapon without any gloves. Oh wait, you suspect me of the murder? Why do you suspect me? Because your fingerprints are on it. Oh my
But
god.
why are my fingerprints on it?
Bakuero, korero. That's all I have to say. Um, they're so stupid. And oh, we also learned from his friend Larry that uh, he accidentally put in too much air. He had this like inflatable steel samurai thing. Apparently, it's like a mascot for the game.
For a TV show, that's also one of the cases in the games.
Yeah. Um, and he like over inflated it so it popped and it just uh, basically flew over the lake, and that's what triggered the photo, and it made it look like Gordy, the Loch Ness monster thing, but it was literally just his inflatable steel samurai that was almost deflated at the very end, and so that was kind of funny. Uh, and then they call a witness on day two. His name is the boathouse caretaker, and he's like, I don't remember my name. And he says he saw Miles um, after the two shots, and um, that he was there, and he said, oh, I killed him or something like that. And they're like, haha, you are guilty. And the judge literally says, oh, you're guilty. And that's when Larry goes, "Oh wait, hold on!" Like from the crowd, I got something, and the Phoenix is like, well, let me ask this witness, another witness. Oh, get that shit out of here. What? Get that garbage out of there. Um, I am. He's distracting me with stupid Facebook. Blame this guy. He's
Uh,
he's looking at random like Facebook pictures and shit. Um, all right, so Larry Butts luckily gets called to the stand because the judge is like, well, I want to make sure all the evidence is looked at, so we're gonna do that. And he gets called to the stand, and he tells the story about when it was like 30 minutes till midnight. He actually heard a shot, and he was there. He was there because he was fishing his inflatable steel samurai thing out of the lake, and um, he always listens to the radio, and they said right before the shot happened, the radio said, "Oh, it's 30 minutes until Christmas" or something like that. And looking at the different pictures, Phoenix is like, "Oh my God, there was actually a third shot. So maybe Hammond was killed beforehand, and the murderer was on the boat with you, with Miles, my client." And yeah, that's him. You got it. Um, and so they look at the pictures, and one of the pictures says 30 minutes before midnight, and it was blurry, but it doesn't matter because loud sounds trigger that uh, camera to go off. And the other two pictures of them on the boat is 45 minutes later, 15 minutes after midnight. So, um, he, let's see, BH caretaker witness. Oh, and then they try to bring back the boathouse caretaker, but he's gone. So then they have to start a manhunt, and then there's still one more day, and so they go to his like house, I guess, and they find a letter. Phoenix and Maya do, and they get attacked. They get tased by the obviously the caretaker, and the caretaker has a bird named Perry or something, right? Was it Perry? Polly the
yeah.
parrot. Polly want a cracker, yeah. And they get attacked, but they can't do anything about it. They didn't see who really attacked them, but they know it was probably the caretaker because that was literally the caretaker's house. Um, and then we get a conversation with the Miles, and then he says that um, he saw his dad destroying evidence, and he was caught by Yanni Yogi, and Yanni Yogi was the guy who was um, convicted of that whole DL6 case.
Yeah,
Anyways,
convicted of killing Miles' dad.
yep. And then they're like, "Oh, maybe we should bring back Red as a witness because he might have things to say." And um, conveniently that night, Red dies in prison. He was poisoned. His food was poisoned. So that's cool. Um, and we learn that Polly is uh, Yanni Yogi's wife, the name of his wife. So, anyways, day three starts, um, and Phoenix has to stall for the witness to come because they're still looking for the caretaker, and the Von Karma guy, he's just like, "Oh, we quit stalling and let's just call Miles guilty because then I win." Blah blah blah, and right before the judge is about to do his mallet thing, this blue mascot thing sticks his hand in between. What is that mascot called?
The Blue Badger.
The blue badger.
Yep.
He stops it, and there's nobody in the suit, but he's able to move on his own because that's how anime works.
In the games, it's an animatronic, and it's essentially the mascot for the police.
exactly.
They just have a sign of it outside the police station.
Whoa. All right. So yeah, the mascot and judge. Um, then right as that happens with the mascot, the detective comes back and he's like, "I found this bird, and I found Yanni. The not Yanni Yogi. He found the caretaker, and he gets put on the stand, and then we learn that he's actually Yanni Yogi. They have like some evidence. I forget how it works. But we find out he's actually Yanni Yogi, um, and then they have nothing after that really. Um,
All because his parrot.
yeah, his parrot kept saying certain things, and he's like, "I'm gonna put Polly on the stand," and they're like, "Oh, they were. Oh, that's right. They were gonna determine if this is actually Yanni Yugi by his fingerprints, but his fingerprints he didn't
Were
have
burnt
any
off.
because they were he where he worked, like the not drugs but the chemicals that were used um, made his fingerprints go away. And fun fact, kids, we'll learn in a second how you get rid of fingerprints. Hey, yeah, they're going to explain exactly how you get rid of fingerprints. Get ready, kids. It's going to be a doozy. Anyways, he has no fingerprints, so they call Polly the parrot to the stand, and Phoenix is trying to talk to the parrot, and it's not going well until he says, "I'm sorry," and then he says, uh, I love you, Yanni."
Yep.
He says, "I'm sorry again. I love you, Yanni." He's like, "Oh my God, this must be the bird." And the bird was saying like, "Safe is 1102. Cell is 0602. Bank 0902." And they looked at the dates, and it was basically when Yanni's wife was born, when they got married, and when she died. All those dates.
And around that time is also when we got the second.
Oh Jesus Christ! That scared the shit out of me.
Because we
I
got
thought you were just falling over.
we got two of those in the movie.
Yeah. What was the second one for?
I don't remember. I think it had to
I
do
think
with.
it was Miles saying something stupid, right? It wasn't Phoenix the second time.
It,
Oh, it was. It was Miles. He's like, I'm not. Is like fragile. Someone called him talking about his hair or something. It's like frazzled.
yeah, I'm not that frazzled.
Yeah, and then people are like, I didn't understand that. He's like, I'm not frazzled, and they're like, oh,
Because
that's so stupid.
the caretaker was describing him as guy in the very frazzy suit.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not that frazzy. Whatever frazzy means, I don't even know what that means.
And that's when they faint again.
Yeah. So it's not just Phoenix Wright that's stupid. Anyone can say something that's stupid, and people go,
There's one part of the game where you do play as Miles.
that makes sense. So we get the I love you, Yanni, and then Yanni Yugi, or Nani. Yanni Yogi. I've been having trouble. That's why it takes me so long to say his name, because I'm like, don't say Yugi, don't say Yugi, don't say Yugi.
Sure, let's do.
Yeah. Like when they first said his name, I was like, Yami Yugi? What? Yami Yogi, or Yanni Yogi. We learned that he was framed and he was told to play guilty, and he admits, this is the part where he admits, like, yes, that's my name, is Yanni Yogi, and he was there when Miles's dad died, but he didn't shoot him, and he stands by that. But his lawyer, the Hammond,
yeah, Richard Hammond.
Richard Hammond, he goes up to um, Yanni Yogi and says, "Our firm has a reputation, and we need you to plead guilty, and we can't lose your reputation. So whether you did it or not, you're gonna plead guilty, and you're gonna do it by insanity."
He got off on not guilty.
No, he did plead. He pled guilty.
No, because it said not guilty when it was showing the results. It said not guilty. Because why else was he not in jail?
Because of insanity, right?
Shouldn't he still?
Or is it not guilty due to insanity? Is that the thing? Maybe that was it. Not
Because it
guilty
said
because you're
not
insane.
guilty.
But he's insane. I don't know. Anyways, but everybody blamed him for being a murderer, and he comes home and he finds his wife killed herself. And I don't know, editor, if you have to bleep that out. If you need to bleep it out, otherwise just leave it in. Whatever. I'm not scared to say that. People otherwise people say like unaliving self, which doesn't make any sense to me. Anyways,
She's floating in the air.
yeah, with the rope around her neck. Exactly. Um, and then his wife killed herself, and he started going insane, for real, and he felt really guilty about this. And there's a thing that he always says. He's like, I'm sorry," and the bird always says, "I love you, Yanni. I'm sorry, I love you, Yanni. I'm sorry, I love you, Yanni," and he keeps saying it over and over again. Just to hear those words. Um, Anyways, so this is where we see Yanni getting a box with a letter that says, "This is what you need for revenge on this Hammond guy," and it gave him instructions on what to do. So it gave him, first of all, it gave him a gun. Second of all, he got some hydrochloric acid, and he was told in the letter they're gonna want your fingerprints. So if you get rid of your fingerprints, uh, they can't know that it's actually you. Um, so what he does is he pours this hydrochloric acid in this container. He sticks his fingers in there for X amount of time, and now he doesn't have any fingerprints. That's how you do it, kids. All right, so if you want to go commit crimes, make sure to get rid of your fingerprints, or just be smart and wear gloves. Like these other lawyers who don't know. If you're in a crime scene, yeah, just touch everything. Yeah, they won't convict you or anything. God damn it, people are so dumb. Anyways, um, then Miles confesses in court. He's like, he killed his own father, and he explains that the gun was like being flung around, and he was looked like it made it look like in the movie that he was about to shoot it, but he didn't. He flung it, and hit Yanni in the back, and the gun just went off and hit his dad. That's what he remembers. And so that accidental discharge um, leads to, okay, but there was actually two bullets in the gun. Why was it empty at the end? There must have been a second shot, and someone else was there, and Phoenix Wright thinks about it for a second. He's like, wait a minute, Von Karma, you were there. It must have been you. And he's just like, what do you mean?
Because one thing we forgot to admit, or we admitted, he's only taken one sick day in the 40 years that he's been a lawyer.
Yeah, and that was 15 years ago. How convenient. And 15 years ago, it was the DL6 case. Did I say that right?
Yep.
DL? Okay.
Yep.
So he's like, huh. So he literally brings that up at this moment. And he's like, there must be a bullet in you. And he's just like, I didn't go see a doctor. There's no medical records. And then Larry's like, oh, hey, I have this metal detector I used to find my giant inflatable steel samurai thing. And he's like, all right, let's use this metal detector. And the judge allows it. And we find that in his left shoulder is a
bullet.
Well, they don't know it's a bullet. It could be anything, but they're like, it must be a bullet because they were gonna look at it.
He admitted to it.
Yeah, he admitted to it like right away. He's like, yeah, it was a bullet. Okay, but you can't prove it's the same bullet from the same gun. You can't do that because and they go look for the gun in evidence, but the gun is gone. How convenient. Everything just keeps getting better and better. And they're like, huh, well. And then the ghost appears again and is like, oh, hey, you just gotta look in the right spot. You're almost there. And try not to use logic, or try to use backwards logic, or I don't know what it said.
Turnabout logic.
Turnabout logic, and that's how he got like, oh, Von Karma is in there. And then he knocks over the. I don't know why they still have it with them. But they still have the Thinker statue, and something happens. Some books fall over, and the statue breaks, and there's a bullet in there from evidence that Mia got, the one who got killed, that would have brought down the actual murderer. And so they're like, hey, let's match this bullet with the other bullet, and they should be the same, right? Um, and they went to match it. He throws it up in the air, and something scans it, and we get it right away. And there was 0% match, which really confused me. I was like, well, what does this mean? That means it's not the same, not from the same bullet from the same gun. Means that there was evidence tampering, and so this guy Von Karma had like 40 years of like all his cases, winning his cases, and the only way you could do that, nobody has 100% in anything. The only way you can do that is by cheating. So basically, he cheated his way, and he confesses, and he's like, "Oh my god, yeah, I tampered evidence, but there's scum on the street, and they don't play by the rules, so we don't play by the rules." And then he's like, "We need to do whatever it takes to do it. Hey, let's." That's basically fascism in a nutshell. Oh, they're doing bad. We can do bad too. Ha. Anyways, that's just being evil in general. But so he's found guilty, and then Miles is found not guilty, of course, of the crime. And Von Karma, I think he goes to jail or whatever. Or maybe that's another case. I don't know. But then basically the movie ends, and like everything's happy, and it was really traumatic and drama filled. Like towards the end, you just like don't see this coming. I thought the movie was gonna end like 20 minutes before it actually did, and all of a sudden we just get this random stuff. I'm like, there's no time for like more, and they're like, oh, we'll just continue the case in this one. We'll just talk about it while you're here, even though this is, I suppose they were talking about the
DL6.
DL6, but they were talking about the murder of the Hammond guy. So
but it was linked to DL6.
In our judicial system, they would have to do another trial for that because they weren't doing the trial of the DL6. But because in this different judicial system,
the bench trials,
yeah, it's they're like, well, let's do it faster. It makes more sense. But it was very dramatic at the end.
And we forgot that isn't even the end.
Oh, that's right. We gotta figure out more.
Who stole the money?
Because Maya heard this story, and she's like, "But who stole the money?" And she's asking about it, and they're all,
And Larry, the lovable dumbass, goes, "Why do we need to know that? I didn't steal the money to get Phoenix in trouble."
Yeah, I was just down a few bucks, so I just needed some extra cash, And they all look at him like, "Wait, it was you?" And he's like, "Oh, that was 15 years ago. You can't blame a guy."
Statute of limitations.
And then like they get Phoenix and Maya Maya gets on a train, and Phoenix is there. She's just like, "Oh, bye," and then it was like a long, awkward goodbye.
That's kind of how each episode of the game ends. It just shows like a still of like the end, just
people
like
talking or whatever. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, no, I really like this movie, and I have very little experience with Phoenix Wright games. I've played like maybe 20 minutes of one, and I read part of a manga of it, and I liked it, but never really got into it. So 4.4 out of 5 for me.
I give it, yeah, 4.4 sounds good.
Yeah, I'd
Uh,
watch it again.
I especially liked how very detailed they went, and they even showed a bunch of like little tidbits of other cases from the game.
Yeah, and all their hair was amazing. They're all their hair, even as kids, they had the same hair as kids.
Like
So that's fun.
the Steel Samurai, and we did. It shows one scene where it shows Miles playing a guitar.
Oh, at the very end when
Yeah.
he's just like, it's like him and Phoenix are just have in the court going back and forth. He's like, "Oh, what's this? It's a guitar." He's like, "Objection."
And that and the Steel Samurai is from the Turnabout Samurai chapter, and the Blue Badger. The dialogue of uh, Afro Lady, I can't. Lot of heart. Just like how
Letty?
detailed it went.
What was her name? Letty?
Lotta.
Lotta. Lotta grief.
Just the detail that went into the movie and how true it was to the game.
Yeah, usually in America we get Eli Roth movies that have nothing to do with the game. They're just like, oh look, a character named Will, just like in the game, but he doesn't wear the same clothes and he doesn't have the same personality and it doesn't even use the same weapon, but you got the name right.
I agree with the reviews I was saying. Probably one of the best video game movies.
Oh, I haven't seen much, so I can't compare it to anything else.
I can't even think of another good one.
Um, if you guys
I didn't like.
have another one, you can leave a comment if you want us to review something else. Be like, hey, this one's better. This one's shitty. Please review it. I want to see your rage and torture faces.
And if anybody knows Takashi Miike, tell him to make a sequel.
Yeah, they can make a sequel. Now Phoenix Wright is 87 years old and he's still trying to objectify things in the courtroom.
But not only that, because the Phoenix Wright is actually only just one set of games. Because there's Phoenix Wright, and there's the Great Ace, which takes place in like Sherlock Holmes era. Like you meet a guy that's just like Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, cool.
And he plays the role of a Detective Gumshoes in the original series, just as like the cop, the idiot cop.
Okay.
That one thing in the movie, Gumshoes wasn't shown as an idiot as much. He is in the games.
All right.
And then there's the one that just recently came out. I haven't played, but that's a sequel to Phoenix Wright, where I think Phoenix Wright is your mentor.
Oh, that's fun. Well, anyways, 4.4 out of 5 for me. 4.4 out of 5 for Jerv over here. And thanks for watching. If you want to see us see more, leave a comment or whatever of what movies you want us to watch. Otherwise, we're going to be picking our own movies. So, suck it.
And to help out, if you have a recommendation, tell us where we can watch it. Because as somebody recommended City of Violence, and we could not find it anywhere.
It's not on any streaming service.
This is
So, if we just got to wait for it or find a physical copy. Or maybe you can send us a physical copy if you have it. like a DVD or something. It was made in 2006, so there's got to be a DVD of it. Just like Dogma was, like you can't find that anywhere.
So that was a whole different reason why you can't find it, because it was banned.
Yeah, exactly.
Which it's actually getting a re-release here now that Harvey Weinstein doesn't have rights to it anymore.
Well, that's good. All right. Yeah, we can end the video. We should have ended like 20 minutes ago. But what are we at for time? I can't see. 51.